Oh, come on, man. I can't have shit in this house!
Fast as fuck.
Showtime.
Peace. See ya. Naughty, naughty.
Yoink!
Hey guys, what's going on? Hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for making it all the way here. Once again, this is going to be me explaining my team build, and I cannot wait. It's super exciting. I can't count how many battles I had to get in order to finally get some decent footage for this team, but it was a while. It took me like a solid two straight days of only playing Pokemon Shield and throwing up this team in battles. See, because with the issue with a lot of these, and I don't want to explain too much or go too much into detail, but with the issue with a lot of these teams is that the strategies don't work in Sword and Shield innately, right? So, what that means is that moves and sets and stuff from previous games, you can bring them over via Pokemon Home and the Pokemon Bank, but you can't bring them onto online or ranked because they won't allow you to unless they have the battle ready sticker or whatever the case may be. So it's super annoying because in ranked I can get these done in 2 seconds. It's super easy. It's just meta, and I just counter meta and we're done. But when you go on just random, you just open up the internet and then you go onto a random double battle. Oh boy, it's like 6 legendaries and it's extremely difficult, but we still managed. And let me go ahead and get on with the team build though. So this is actually my Rattled team. My Rattled team is super funny because it revolves on specifically getting one strategy off. Two strategies off, and they're super cool. So Rattled is a super cool ability that is actually not many Pokemon have. We're actually going to start with the Pseudo Voodoo since I'm already explaining Rattled, and then we'll go on our way back. Rattled is a super cool ability that I think only a handful of Pokemon have. A couple of baby Pokemon, Magikarp, Sudowoodo, Bonsly, and Granbull and Snubbull, I think. So it's really a very rare ability, and you don't get to see it really often. But what Rattle does is it says right there, if your Pokemon gets hit by either we zoomed into the wrong thing there. If the Pokemon gets hit by either a Dark, Ghost, or Bug type move, it scares the Pokemon and it boosts their speed stats. So they're rattled, they're shooken. So what that does effectively is if I target my Pokemon with any one of those types of moves, then the speed stat raises. And as you would have seen in the battle, that's exactly why I paired it up with this Whimsicott. Now, Whimsicott is just an excellent support Pokemon. I know it's incredibly overused, but the reason that it's incredibly overused is because it's incredibly good at what it does. No Pokemon has this combination of moves, ability in Prankster, or just abilities such as Infiltrator and stuff in general, and speed stat. It's in an incredible speed tier. It's very fast. And it has a pretty weird mix of stat spread. Like its bulk isn't too bad. Regardless, Sudowoodo with the Rattle, what we would do with the Sudowoodo is I gave it max speed, max attack, which is pretty unconventional for a pretty slow Pokemon. But anything, and I've learned that literally anything, for an example, Colossal with a +6 speed stat is outspeeding anything. So it doesn't really matter what it is on the field. Sudowoodo was paired up with the Weakness Policy, Rattled, and the move Endure. What Endure does is it'll hold on and it'll brace whatever attack is incoming. And what I would do is I tried to bait out the Kyogres or any water Pokemon, grass Pokemon, anything that might want to come out and hurt the Sudowoodo. I'd go ahead and Endure. That way it could live the 6 beat ups that I would be giving from the Whimsicott. And Whimsicott has a horrible attack stat, which I reduced with a timid nature. Which means that those 6 beat ups really wouldn't even do that much. And the Endure was just there for insurance. It was just there to make sure that it lived because, a Drizzle Origin Pulse from Kyogre would definitely one-shot Sudowoodo. But, with the Weakness Policy and the Endure, it would certainly live. After it got the +6 from the Rattled and then the +2 in attack from the Weakness Policy, any one of these moves was murdering. Rock Slide was doing heaps of damage. Fire Punch, Thunder Punch was there for coverage. They were also doing heaps of damage. So it would always endure something and then murder something off. And that was really all it needed to do. And the only thing that this Whimsicott needed to do was get the 6 beat ups off. So I made sure that it was as fast as possible, max speed, and then I split its HP and special defense so that it was a decently bulky invested. My goal was to get the beat up and then some support move off. I had to rework this team a couple of times. I probably even deleted the original footage for this team because I apologize. That team was completely different from this team that I'm working on right now. And so, really the only thing the Whimsicott needed to do was get off this beat up. Once it did that, it did its job. Taunt was there to make sure that we didn't get countered by Trick Room, so that if I seen any Trick Room teams or a Trick Room Pokemon, we just taunt that right out, not have to worry about anything. Tailwind was there just as a cherry on top if it managed to live, because a lot of times it didn't. A lot of times nobody likes to see Whimsicott on the field. It would always get targeted, always get murdered immediately. That was just there to further boost the team, and then Giga Drain was there so that it wouldn't. Even if it was taunt baited or whatever, it would have at least a stab and it would be doing some kind of damage, which Whimsicott, it can do. And also it would increase its longevity if it was getting hit by weak moves or anything like that. Sudowoodo, I already explained. I gave it a Jolly Mint to make sure that it was as fast as possible. Oh, actually, I just left this thing as hardy. Okay, well, I didn't finish fixing the Sudowoodo. I guess it could have been a little faster with the Jolly Mint, but I'm not really too worried. This is one of my shiny Sudowoodos that I got from the Virtual Console. And then the other strategy that I got off with this team is going to be explained with this live part here that I had to breed in Ultra Sun and Moon and then bring it over as well as some of the other Pokemon that are on the team. So Rattled plus all those boosts sounds great, right? But at this point, if I used Endure, Sudowoodo is going to be on 1 HP, so it can be targeted by priority. It could just be murdered. It could be picked off really easily. Because even with the +2 Rock Slide coming off of Sudowoodo, it's not like the greatest, but it's also not the worst. So, with all that said, especially if you're going up against a bunch of bulky legendary Pokemon, with that said, I wanted to keep that stat spread alive. And the only way that I was able to do that is by a beautiful little move called Psych Up. So Psych Up is something that you don't get to see often either. Psych Up, what it does is it'll copy the stat boosts of whatever targeted Pokemon, whether that be your opponent or your ally. And the beautiful thing about Psych Up is it'll bypass Protect and things like that. I wanted to run Protect on the Sudowoodo really badly, but I didn't think it would work out too well. Now, Liepard is one of my favorite Pokemon to run competitively. I know you guys probably already know that. I run, even Pearlion I ran, and that thing's funny. But Prankster Liepard is a beautiful Pokemon, and so what I would do is I maxed out its offenses. It has no need for speed invested. The only speed investment that I gave it was making it hasty, so it would be a little bit faster, but it's already an incredibly fast Pokemon, and as you can see, it's really balanced out there. 140, 140, 139 speed, so those are all really, really high stats. They're all in the 100s. I gave it the Focus Sash to make sure that we kept the stat spread alive. So what I would do is after the Whimsicott would get targeted, I'd bring in the Liepard and go ahead and do a little Prankster Psych Up and make sure that I copied all those stats. If there was something on the field that can get killed by Night Slash, I'd automatically off it because it's high offense plus the stat boost would murder things. And then if I needed to go ahead and get out of there without getting murdered, I would baton pass those onto another Pokemon that could safely come in and start handling business. And then that Pokemon would be incredibly like monstrous. And then sometimes if for example the Sudowoodo did like half damage, like a good 60% damage on the other side with one Rock Slide, I just go ahead and copycat that Rock Slide and then hit it again, so that way it would finish them off, because the Liepard with a high attack stat, full attack investment, and the stat boost, it would be, it'd be offing things. Anyways, Liepard would just make sure that the stat spread stayed alive, and it would also pick off a lot of unsuspecting Pokemon, because Liepard, with the max offensive investment, it does a lot of damage. So it's actually a really cool Pokemon. I left it. It was serious at first, then I gave it a hasty nature just so it was a little bit faster. We don't worry about its defenses. They're paper thin anyways, and we have a Focus Sash, so it's not like it really matters. Gastrodon was one of the Pokemon that we could bring in, one, not only to redirect water away from the Sudowoodo to keep it alive, but two, so that it can handle some of these Pokemon, the annoying Pokemon that would come in to try to kill us. At first, Gastrodon was a good answer to this team, because at first this team was heavily targeted by electric type Pokemon, and I forget what else, because it was super weak to electric and ice. That's what it was, electric and ice. So we had to find an answer to both of those. Gastrodon was a huge answer to some of that. This is one of the competitive Gastrodons that I've actually ran in a tournament before. I already had it ready and set up, so I just thought I would just throw it in. Why not? This Gastrodon is max health, max defense. I think everything else on Gastrodon is pretty much covered except for its defensive stat. And God, I love Gastrodon. It is such a monster with this build. Super tanky. Storm Drain makes it even better. If I baton pass some of those stat changes or stat boosts to it, it's even better. And then of course I have, a basic set here: Scald, Recover, Earth Power, Sludge Bomb. Sludge Bomb for coverage. Also, when you go Dynamax, you can max Ooze, get even stronger, max Quick, get even bulkier, and then max Geyser would make it so they would hit a really, really hard stab water move. Recover was there because it was beautiful. It was already super tanky, so we would just tank moves, recover the health right back, and then we're rocking and rolling. Gastrodon was the MVP in a couple of these battles, as you could see, leftovers attached so they would stay alive. I actually had a moment where it was double targeted, and when it was double targeted, then it finally died, but you know how it goes. Chandelure was another answer. If I needed to keep the Whimsicott safe, or if I needed to baton pass away from a fighting type that was targeting Liepard, I could go straight into Chandelure. It's a ghost type. It'd eat it up. It would do nothing. And then the Flash Fire would eat whatever fire move is coming at it and make it even stronger. Chandelure is a monster of a Pokemon. I actually have one of these similar setup, except this one doesn't have Ally Switch. This one I had to breed an Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon and bring it over so that it could learn Psych Up, because that is the last game where you can learn this move, and not have to go through all this hassle. So I bred it over there, taught it Psych Up. I gave it Clear Smog when it bred and Heat Wave, and then I just taught it Shadow Ball. So 2 stab moves, one a really good reliable move that not only boosted its stats when it was Dynamaxed with Max Ooze, but it would also get rid of the opposing side stats. So if somebody wanted to set up some kind of sweep or whatever, you could just take away their stats and then you're good. Psych Up was obviously there in case it just needed to swap in to where, like, for example, wherever the Whimsicott was, it would just then copy the Psych Up the stats from Sudowoodo and be ready to go. Timid nature for a really good, for a pretty decent speed stat, because it's not really fast, but it's also not slow. It sits in a kind of an in-between speed tier. Max speed, max special attack, going crazy good. I think one of the best Chandelure sets is this. And then the Expert Belt for 20% extra more damage on every super effective move. Then we're going to go into another pinnacle of the team, Galarian Slowbro. Galarian Slowbro had the tankiness. It has the thickness to absorb some moves, especially when it's Dynamaxed. And then a Black Sludge would keep it alive. I gave it max special defense, some special attack investment, and some attack investment. I spread its offenses because everything else was already decent. Quick Draw is so beautiful because it's just like a Quick Claw to have on a Pokemon, so it's so nice. And then, of course, Psych Up to copy the stat boost. It would be able to take a hit, Psych Up, and then probably go big Dynamax and start doing damage. When it Dynamax, it could cover both of its offensive stats. I gave it Brick Break not only for coverage, not only to deal with screens, but when it would Dynamax, it could get a Max Knuckle that would boost its attack. Side Cell Arm is its signature move, and it's a great move, by the way. Whether it's physical or special, whichever does more damage, that's the way that it goes. So it can do either physical or special damage, which is incredibly good. And then Sword Power obviously is the last stab, but also with all those stat boosts going around, I had to throw in a Sword Power Pokemon in here. And Slowbro was the perfect fit. He could take all those stat boosts and completely annihilate another Pokemon. And it was really nice to see it go, do its work. I kept it with the quirky nature. I didn't want to offset any of its stats. They were already pretty well rounded. And that, my friends, is basically the Rattled team. So Rattled and Psych Up, really good, but really difficult strategy to get off. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Go ahead and comment below if you want to see anything else like this. And I appreciate you guys for coming through and listening to the explanation. You guys have been amazing. I've been TrainerOblivio and TrainerOblivio checking out. Have a good one, guys.